Welcome everyone, my name is Wirthypickle and this is your channel for all things gaming. This year's Xbox showcase was arguably the best showcase that they have ever put out, and there's a lot to talk about, so let's just get started. The showcase starts off with a quick teaser trailer of Call of Duty Black Ops 6, but we see a lot more about this game later on in the showcase, so we'll actually talk about that at the end of the video. Like usual though, Xbox likes to start off strong, so the first thing that we really see is Doom: The Dark Ages, and oh man did this look good. I can't see how anyone who's a fan of Doom will be disappointed in this trailer. We actually see a new gameplay mechanic of having a shield to block enemies, and you can actually throw it like a boomerang to kill anything in its path. The campaign map looks open enough to give you freedom of choosing which route you want to take, but also being compact enough to make you stress about being overwhelmed. The enemies looked awesome, but can we talk about being able to control this giant mech suit or even flying on this dragon beast thing? I'm super stoked to see more from this game in the future, and it's set to release in 2025. Right after Doom, we see State of Decay 3. I only played a little bit of State of Decay 2, so I'm no expert in this game, but if you've played the old game, these graphics look like a massive leap forward. We didn't see a whole lot from the game, but I'm sure we'll get a lot more info as the year goes on. Next, we see Dragon Age. The trailer for this was a bit unique, highlighting the various characters in the game, and quite a few people have pointed out their issues with the style of this trailer because of the odd tone for what the game is actually going to be. Maybe it's just a different direction for the series, or maybe it was just a poorly designed trailer, I'm not completely sure. But this may be something that I may talk about a little bit more in the future, so if you're interested in a video like that, let me know in the comments. Now for one of my favorite parts of the showcase, we get our first look at the Shattered Space expansion for the Starfield storyline, and oh man did this look amazing. Say what you will about Starfield, but I greatly enjoyed that game when it was released. The tone of this trailer was polar opposite to the trailers we saw leading up to Starfield. It was grim, suspenseful, and focused on fearing what's out there instead of viewing the unknown as an interesting or magical thing. I also couldn't help but think of the Daedric artifacts from Skyrim. Not that those will be in Starfield, but the dark and evil tones and colors we see, and the strange artifact that this person holds up. I don't know man, but I'm feeling this expansion and I can't wait for it to be released later this year. Now also for Starfield, they actually announced a new update that by the time you're watching this video is already out. It includes new locations, new gear, and even more bounties. Now we've gotten a few content updates since the launch of the game, but we have desperately been needing more. So it's nice to see some real content update. So it's nice to see a real content update coming out now that will hold us off until Shattered Space actually comes out. They also actually announced the release of Creations, so we can download more content for the game, which is amazing to finally see. And I'll be talking a lot about this more, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned. Moving on from Starfield though, Bethesda actually gives us another trailer, but for Fallout 76. Now I've given this game a few tries, but it's just not for me. I've come to the conclusion it's just not a game that I like, but they have a massive fan base, so they're obviously doing something right, and it's got to be a somewhat enjoyable game. But in this trailer, we just see a quick look at Skyline Valley, a new update for the game coming on June 12th. So if that's a game you like, be sure to look up that full trailer. Next, we see a short trailer of Expedition 33, a beautiful looking turn-based game, taking place in a mythical world where a group of people set on an expedition to destroy a witch and save the world. The enemies and combat look amazing, and the story was also gripping to me, and this is set to release in 2025. Next, we see South of Midnight, which really took me by surprise. I can always appreciate a game that has unique animation and art style, and this definitely has that. To me, it looked kind of like the animation of the animated Spider-Man movies by the way the animation just kind of moved around and the art style. The game universe is kind of a mix of the Deep South and a magical fantasy world. Now, this is a game I'm actually very excited to get my hands on, just to see how it actually plays. The fighting looks smooth and enjoyable, but the most gripping part was the interesting universe that the game took place in, and South of Midnight will be coming in 2025. The showcase did slow down just a little bit with the cinematic trailer of the new World of Warcraft update. Not quite my cup of tea, but for those of you who are into World of Warcraft, you'll get a nice content update in just a couple months. Next, we see a quick trailer of the Metal Gear Solid remake, Snake Eater. A common theme this showcase, but the graphics are a drastic improvement. Obviously in this case because it's a remake of an old game, but you get my point. We don't see a whole lot of this game, but I'm curious to see how the survival elements teased will play out. Unfortunately, no release date was shown, so I'm guessing we won't see this until 2026 or later. Like pretty much every Xbox showcase, we're teased with the new Sea of Thieves season content. I love this game, but for the sakes of time and the little amount that was actually shown in this, we're just going to brush past this. Now, after Sea of Thieves, the showcase does pick up again when we see a rather intense trailer of Flintlock. I've been a bit skeptical of this game game from what we have seen before, but this trailer did put my worries to rest. And man, did it look good. That may just be because of the quick cuts and fast moving action, but what we did see did look great to me. Big explosions, smooth fighting, and interesting enemies. I'd really like to see a deep dive, closer look at how this game will actually play, but I guess we won't have to wait super long because the game is coming out to Game Pass next month. And then for those of you that like Age of Empire or strategy games that are kind of like that, we do see Age of Mythology. I've never been one to play this type of game, but it does look like to have some fun twists to the genre that I'm sure some of y'all will love. Age of Mythology will be coming out this September. Now, I'm sure if you guys are watching this video, you've heard of Perfect Dark by now. There's been a whole lot of controversy on this game between leaks and people leaving the company. A lot of the community has been worried that this game was at a rough state, but from what they've shown, the game looks amazing to me. The various paths you can take, the ability to hack into tons of different things, and what I'm most excited about, the parkour that they show. We don't quite know if this is just a short little segmentation of a feature found in one of these missions, or if we can actually move around like Dying Light, but man, I'd love to see an advanced parkour system in this game. Everything I saw in this trailer got me super excited, but I'm curious to see how this game will actually turn out. Let's just hope the storyline ends up being good. Then after a quick short talk from Matt Booty, we see a rather long trailer of Diablo's new update. Unfortunately, this is just a cinematic and we don't actually see any gameplay, but their trailers are always very well done and interesting, but as someone who doesn't play Diablo, I have no idea what's going on here. Something a little more interesting to me was Fable, and boy am I excited to see this game more hands-on. The trailer was a good balance of funny and serious. The universe also looks super good to me and interesting. We see just a tease of the magic and abilities that we'll have, but most of the focus seemed to be on the characters, and I was totally sold. Lastly, I just want to point out that this looks exactly like Harry Potter about to go into his Quidditch match. Anyways, Fable will be coming out 2025, so we still have a bit of time to wait for that. After Fable, we see Fragpunk. My first impression at the start of this had me totally lost, and it just seemed like a strange, weird card-based game. It wasn't until I realized that it was a 5v5 PvP game that it actually caught my attention. There's a lot of these types of games out there, but I'll definitely have to give this one a try. Having usable cards to kind of alter how the game works has kind of an interesting twitch to this 5v5 game mode. But this will also be coming out 2025, so it's a little ways out. After that, we see our first survival game. So for those of you that are into these types of games, this one looks pretty cozy and cute, but also seems to have an emotional storyline attached. So if you like survival games, you may want to take a look at this. Winter Burrow will be coming early 2025. Next, we see Mixtape, a music-based game focused on the lives of a group of teenagers. I imagine this will be a strong story-based game with a whole lot of angst. We won't know a whole lot until we get closer to the release in 2025. Now, it isn't an Xbox showcase without Flight Simulator, so there will be a new update coming out, this one with careers and missions available, which might be just the thing to get people into one of the prettiest games Xbox has to offer. This update is coming in November of this year. Then we see another update for ESO in the showcase. Not a ton to talk about here, but I am a bit disappointed we didn't see their new MMO that was leaked to be at the showcase. Hopefully we'll see that pretty soon. Next, we see the trailer for the sequel for Life is Strange, which will be coming in October. The story for this game looks fantastic. You'll be on a quest to control two different realities, trying to save your friend from being killed in both worlds. I'll be giving this game a download on day one for sure. Next, we see the longest trailer of the showcase, Indiana Jones. This game looks amazing. We've seen a small amount of gameplay already, but in this trailer, we see a deeper dive into the story with a cinematic of one of the missions. Bad guys in this had a good balance of humor and seriousness. Choo-choo! Choo-choo! And we also see a short look at some of the puzzles the game has to offer. But let me know what you guys think of this game. This will be one of my most anticipated games this year. Mecha Break was shown just after Indiana Jones, so if you enjoy flying around and blowing up other mechs, this is the game for you. The trailer pretty much explains itself: blow things up or be blown up. We'll be seeing this game sometime in 2025. After that, we get a look at Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. This was one of the shortest trailers we saw, but it does look pretty gruesome, so that's something. Another game coming in 2025, so I imagine we'll see more as the year goes on. After that, we finally get another look at Avowed, my #1 game I'm looking forward to this year. I do have rather mixed feelings on this trailer though. I can't quite put my finger on it, but the vibes were just weird in this trailer. Regardless, the gameplay we did see did look really good to me, and the variety between the creatures and races looked amazing. The magic animations and the fighting also looked really good, and I'm excited to see what Obsidian can actually do with this game. I'll be covering this game quite a bit on this channel, so be sure to subscribe and stick around if you want to see more of Avowed. After Avowed, the showcase moved to Atomfall, a strange mix of robots, military, and monsters, and some type of magic. It looks a bit weird and unique, but the universe does look pretty cool. This is a trailer we don't get a lot of information from, as the game won't be ready until 2025. Next, we see more from the new Assassin's Creed game, where you can play as a samurai assassin. I've been kind of burnt on this series for quite a long time. The series just kind of got repetitive to me. All the games kind of seem the same, just in different places, but I can't deny the trailer did look pretty good. The time this game takes place, the gameplay, the throwing out of lights, the fighting, it all looks so good. But I'll be waiting to see more about this game to determine if I actually want to play it in November. But let me know if you'll be giving this a try. In the end of the showcase, we see Stalker 2. Man, another banger from Xbox. This looked great. Seen as more hardcore first-person shooter, the gameplay looked amazing and brutal. If I didn't know better, I'd think this game took place in the Fallout universe, and for that reason alone, I will be playing this in September when it comes out. Then, taking a quick break from games, they give us a look at the new Series X and S. Nothing too new here, just a few different color schemes and a version with 2 terabytes of storage. Then, closing out the showcase, they really did finish strong with the cinematic of Gears of War, and I can't lie, I got a few goosebumps watching this. I don't want to spoil this too much if you haven't played the old games and hope to before this comes out, but for those of you that know, you know this trailer was a big deal, which takes place as a prequel to the series we know and love, an absolute banger to end the showcase. Alright, we only have one last thing to talk about, the famous Call of Duty series that is now part of Xbox. After the Xbox showcase, we had a full Black Ops 6 direct that was over 20 minutes. Most of this focused on the campaign, and they also announced that they'll be doing a deep dive into the multiplayer and round-based zombies later in the next coming months. Now, the game will take place soon after the Cold War. They seem to focus on having as many types of missions as possible. They want everyone to have a taste of something that they may want to see in the campaign. Hopefully this doesn't mean that they're trying to do everything good, but not anything great. Hopefully they're trying to do a well-rounded experience where everything turns out really good. Most importantly though, they introduced the new movement system in Black Ops 6, and I kind of have mixed emotions on this. Being able to sprint in all directions, dive in all directions, and rotate on the ground can be fantastic for the smoothness of movement, but I can't help but feel scared for how much of a nightmare this will be for the casual gamer in multiplayer. There are already people who are masters at movement and make it extremely difficult for people like my dad who just want to shoot and kill and can't figure out how to use these movement styles. So hopefully they can make a good balance of this, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, they did announce a return to the turn-based zombies, which I'm super stoked for, but that's really all we know so far. But that's everything. I appreciate you guys sticking all the way to the end of this video. Please consider subscribing for more content, and as always, be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay worthy.